Are you on the edge of your seat?
Because we're about to sound off with Kevin Williams.
On today's latest trends in location-based entertainment.
Brought to you by the LBX Collective.
Your community to connect, engage, and inspire.
Alrighty, everyone. Let's buckle up.
Well, hey gang, welcome to Sound Off episode number 46. We have an exciting episode today. Kevin was recently at the IAPA EMEA show, and so he's going to be covering all the trends and exciting tidbits that he saw at the show in this episode. We'll also be exploring a few new openings and a closure, unfortunately. But before we get started, Mr. Williams, what is on your mind today?
How I can kill Bill Gates, but other than that, only joking. I love Bill dearly. Well, the obvious thing, you know, after running around for all these shows, is that there's too many conventions. Change my mind. You know, everybody coming back from vacation has gone back on vacation to multiple events. And, you know, just the month that has passed, you know, we had the AMOA Gala. We've had IALPA, which we'll be talking about Europe. We had the British licensing show, a brand licensing show in the UK, which is an important one, the bookend to the Los Angeles one. And then we had Tokyo Game Show. And then we're jumping forward as we're recording this episode. In a couple of days' time, people will be running away to the Great Water Park Convention, then Amusement Expo Japan, you know, to just make things extra confusing, then the big bash at IALPA, and then Leisure Up at MAPIC. Now, I would argue that most of the people watching this and a lot of people in our industries will only go to maybe one of the shows that I've listed there. But from the point of view of understanding the industry and being on top of your game, I would argue that there's a lot of shows you have to attend. Comments?
Yeah, I mean, I'll immediately jump in on that one because as a vendor, right, as somebody who has had to exhibit at a number of shows, there was a time prior to COVID when we were going and we were at least one show of some kind, some conference, some expo or whatever, 40 weeks out of the year as a company. And so I think there are way too many, right? But you, at the same time, if you're trying to build your brand and you're trying to expand internationally, what do you have to do? You have to suck it up and you have to go to all of them and you have to staff them up and you have to make sure that they're valid and driving ROI. And I think it's a lot. It's a lot.
I have a friend who actually, well, sadly, he's no longer with us. So he's underlining the point, but he had this theory that COVID was spread by the number of trade exhibitions. He actually pointed to the vector of CES, CES 2020, where that was the vector where the largest amount of COVID cases started to appear before we knew COVID was COVID. So, you know, maybe there are too many experts. And of course, I haven't even included on this list all of the seminars, all of the meetups and the mixings that are going on. Really, from a marketing point of view, to get the message across, there are too many events. Sorry, Christine.
Yeah, no, I mean, the way I look at this, I just want to see the data. And I know we can't get it. It's not there yet. But really, like, how different are the shows? Are the attendees really that different? Are we talking about the same things, different things? Like, it would be great to see it all together so we could just optimize it. And then, wait a second, maybe regulate or have standardization. Don't we talk about this with everything? But then, I don't know, is that a communist society?
I am sure that
regulate.
Yeah.
I am sure the trade associations, one association in particular, would like to think that their trade shows, now that they have expanded their shows, and we'll talk about that in a minute, feel that they are the clear presenters of the sector. But I would also argue that diversity is the spice of life.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, on that note.
Well, yeah, on that note, before we get rolling with everything else, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, Intercard. Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercard is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, and if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon. All right. Thank you, Intercard. And let's get rolling into sound off number 46.
46, lot to cover here, so pardon me if I steamroller through any of it, and please jump in, guys, if there's something specific you want to talk about. Well, as we said, this is the episode a week after the chaos and confusion of IAAPA Europe. We've been informed by the trade association that it was a record year for attendance. I don't believe that it was a record for exhibiting. It was an interesting show. Amsterdam did us proud. We didn't lose too many exhibitors and attendees due to the fun and frolics in Amsterdam, but there was, a lot to cover. IP, a lot of IP. We had the Smurfs on the show floor being used in theme parks and in virtual reality, and Angry Birds was there. And we had we actually had 4, but we had 3 Angry Bird products released and presented at the show floor. We had Raw Thrills with their amusement product, which for everybody that is watching this with an amusement bent on, I would recommend going over and looking at the excellent coverage that Arcade Heroes, our friends, has done covering the amusement side of the show. We had our friends at DOF Robotics come up with a Angry Birds driving experience or racing experience. And we also had an immersive enclosure Angry Birds product from Attractions. It is interesting that these companies feel comfortable enough to pay Sega, because the company who owns the Angry Birds license has been acquired by Sega, a vast amount of money to use the IP. And compete with all of the other companies that have paid to use the IP. It makes you think, but again, we're looking forward to seeing how these products do in the market before we jump to judgments. Maybe this is the special seasoning that is needed to guarantee that your product sells extra special. Going on a bit about the amusement side, and we've been able to coin a new phrase. The Stinger Report is now pushing the phrase new wave cranes to try and describe the neon special products that are coming from Asia. And we saw a number of manufacturers from Asia or distributors representing Asian companies showing these new style cranes and getting a lot of interest. We had a very strong showing from our Chinese manufacturing sector. So a lot of the stuff that had been seen at AAA show and at GTI show previously had actually made it over. I would say Ace Amusement had one of the best showings that they've had at an exhibition. You know, they had a vast number of products there that were all hot and were all touching the vein of interest. There was also a very interesting shooting gallery product there that Sega jumped on quickly to distribute, and we will talk about that, I think, a little bit more when we're standing in Orlando's glorious exhibition floor space. As I said, Arcade Heroes has coverage of the amusement products that were seen at the show, link down below. And we have a virtual arena that covers the immersive entertainment systems that were seen at the show, link down below. From the VR point of view, VR is still strong in the amusement sector, though it is now becoming more rationalized. It was the free roaming machines that really ruled the roost on the show floor. There were about 8 or 9 different manufacturers showing free roaming amusement platforms that offered various sizes to fit various wallets and also offering strong content. It's interesting to see how this market has standardized itself indirectly, self-policed itself, as it were, The argument is nature abhors a vacuum, and I think that once the technology had established itself, we've gone from the looky-loo, the interest level now to the reality of this product has to generate revenue. We talked about this product before, but I actually got a chance to try it in person. Our friends at Movie Power have created a compact and very effective motion ride experience with VR, which is comparable, I would say, to the larger flying theatre systems that are out there. Very interesting. It uses a motion-based and a motion seating system, very similar to Avatar, that Disney has with their ride experience, using virtual reality headsets, easy in, easy out egress, but in a package that could be deployed into a location-based entertainment or even into an amusement site. And the machine that was actually on demonstration at the show in Amsterdam was actually shipped off to a customer who'd purchased it in the UK. So I wouldn't be surprised that along with the arena scale VR experiences, that we also see VR attractions as another major trend that is going to make itself felt in our sector. VR headsets were plenty, and our friends from HTC actually held an event to launch their brand new HTC Focus Vision, which is an improved version of the Focus 3. Eye tracking, hot battery swapping, more ruggedized design. We also had our friends from Deepoon there with a number of platforms rolling their games. Raw Thrills VR experiences use the Deepoon, as well as Pico. Pico had a number of their headsets there on various booths. The DOF Robotics experience used Pico headsets. We are now at a point where there are enterprise headsets available for what we need in the market, which is great for the industry. It means that we don't have to depend on one manufacturer, but also it means that we can impart what we need from this technology and get results done. And that is an important part of our industry going forwards. I like to call this Generation 4, where we've now moved away from the looky-loo kind of experience, where we're treating it as a novelty, and now we're at a point where this is dependable and reliable technology. Moving from VR to XR, or in this case mixed reality, a number of examples on the show floor, giving us a taste of what we can expect to see in Orlando. We will be seeing a lot more immersive projection and special display attractions that push the person into the virtual experience without them needing to put on 3D glasses or a virtual reality headset. And that is one to keep an eye on. The social entertainment sector was big at IALPA Europe. The bowling industry came in full force, and I've never seen so many bowling providers at one show, even more than systems in operation than I normally see at the Bowling Expo events. We had everything from the gravity string bowlers to the duck pin to the new generation string and controlled bowling lane system, even down to football bowling, where you kick the ball down the lane and knock the pins over at the end. All that was missing was a pickleball bowling machine. Now I've said that. Yeah, copyright KWP.
All right, you said it. You caused this.
AI, VR, XR, robotics, all the buzzwords were there, but from the AI component, we had DOF Robotics show off an AI queue line system. We had an exhibitor showing off an AI karaoke pod system. We had robots in the bowling area as serving systems, and we had robots as ride systems. Regarding AI, we've been in deep discussions with a number of people about when the bubble regarding AI being stuck on everything, the metaverse moment is going to come to the end, and it looks like we're very close to that. Maybe at CES next year, this will be the last hurrah for everybody sticking AI on the side of it. But I've had a really good definition of AI, which is algorithm intensive. And what we mean here is that stuff that we would have normally said was driven by an algorithm is really being defined as being AI, which is untrue. So the photo booth capture system that selects the correct photo and creates a funny montage for you, we would have said is using special programming or an algorithm, but no, it is said to be using AI. The photo booth that has certain pictures created by an algorithm and its menu system is run by a special calculating algorithm to work out the player's preferences is called AI. So we're kind of seeing the rebranding of smart programming and machine learning rather than it really being AI on everything. And again, the robots, it's interesting to look at the autonomous serving machine that is delivering your pizza and looking at the brand new trackless dark ride systems as being very similar in characteristics and technological application, if not doing the same kind of job. Jumping away a little bit from IALPA, they were there, but the technology was ubiquitous across the whole of the show floor, is that we're now seeing active entertainment really big. And we're also seeing active entertainment aiming to include quite large gamification into the experience. And our friends at Altitude and their active family entertainment centers have now done a deal to use a RFID smart card system, wristband system that will be used for tracking the individual through the experience, but also will be used for gamification on certain attractions, hitting the target, achieving a certain score. And then that kind of drives us to, we talk about the new wave crane machines that we see, but we're really seeing in Asia the new wave amusement facilities. And they're really turning the taps on, really putting the investment into creating a brand new look and feel to the entertainment space that they want the individuals to inhabit. And, if you do a side-by-side comparison, as this slide awkwardly tries to achieve, is it kind of tells you that maybe us in the West need to take a deep, dark look at what we're trying to do with our amusement and midway spaces if we're going to stay relevant under this deluge of new facility openings. A little bit of fun. Our friends from Arcade 1-Up, known for their retro arcade machines that you drop into your home rec room. They are linked to rumors that they will be releasing a crane machine that you can have at home. The interesting thing for me about this crane machine that it's being purported to be released is that it comes with 3 settings: easy, normal, and scam, which is a bit of a concern if the company's trying to encourage us to be perceived as offering a scam kind of crane machine in the amusement sector. And then talking about mixed use leisure entertainment and the ability to have mixed reality experiences. The company Little Lions had been known for developing chaos carts, their projection mapped go-karting experience. And within that space, which they're calling their game arena, they have come up with a physical running around game based on Puckman. And they've done a licensing deal with Bandai Namco. They've cooperated. And so we will see a projection mapped Puckman experience being released into their Manchester facility, and we assume across the rest of their sites. Anyway, that was a quick zoom through that. Anything jump out at you guys from that list?
Certainly, it's funny we ended on the Pac-Man one. That one's probably the most exciting or interesting use of IP in a new type of attraction that we still have yet to really see come over here into the US. So definitely excited for the immersive karting and then obviously the Pac-Man IP. I will jump back real quick to the movie. I can't remember the name of the company. It's something movie, really generic logo.
Power.
Yeah, Movie Power. Thank you. And I just struggle, while I like their ride vehicle, I just struggle with the two-seater VR scenario where just the throughput is going to be, they're really going to struggle to get the throughput, especially depending on how long the experience is. And so therefore it's going to have to be a higher ticket item. And if it's a higher ticket item, does that also then, is the experience worth the higher ticket price? And hard to say without having gone on it. Maybe you got a chance to ride it, but I like the concept, just wonder about the economics.
So they've been very clever. They've made it a dynamic system. So it is available in 4-seater, 8-seater, and 16-seater. So they are actually making it as an attraction compared to the ones that you're referring to, the 2-seat ride VR experiences that we have in the market. So I think that's really where they hope to coin their market. And there's some other companies that produce multi-seat or bench seat VR experiences. Our friends from DOF Robotics have their Hurricane system that has its 360 rotation, which is a 4-seater. So again, throughput is key, and you've been reading our minds, because some of the discussions I'm having with operators now is that they're really keen to have strong throughput from their virtual reality experiences if they're going to keep them in their facilities, because there's now products available on the market that offer a large throughput without the delay of having to put on the VR equipment. Anyway, if you will allow me, I'm going to zip through the openings. Butlins, well-known leisure holiday resort operator in the UK, has jumped with both feet into social entertainment venue. They've opened up Play Experience, 50,000 square feet, 2 floors worth of social entertainment, bar, axe throwing, mini golf, virtual reality, you name it, they've got it in there, in a package, heavily branded. They've spent 15 million on this particular project, and I think this will be a component, once it's proven itself, as part of the Butlins leisure resort business, a secondary or tertiary business. We have the companies now adding karaoke and gaming and a little bit of escape room into the mix. This particular French offering, Brain Games, is unique, as in it's a package that can be parachuted into any venues, and it is seen as part of a major social entertainment rollout brand for the company. We have the retro gaming experiences, Massachusetts, going for the 80s, 90s vibe. Booze and retro games will be very popular. Now, some of these operations are talking about not just new venue openings, but existing venues adding new entertainment updates. So our friends at Glowzone have added a mini golf component to their operation, quite a large golf zone package. We have the opening of yet another mini golf operation in Michigan. F1 Arcade will be opening their Washington, D.C. facility, and this is a very important one, prominent city for their racing simulators, 60 racing simulators, F&B, high-level cocktails, high-level dining, watch party experience, and there's a lot riding on the US rollout of this brand, and it's quite competitive. Our friends at Super Bowl UK have parachuted in a new bowling and social entertainment complex, as I like to call it. The interesting thing here is that the arcade and amusement component is being supplied through a partnership with Sega. Sega Amusement Leisure, and this one will be opening next year with a lot of eyes looking to see how this leisure bowling experience rolls out. In Europe, in France, the Illucity chain, which is a virtual reality chain of amusement venues, has actually acquired a chain of VR arcades in the country called Dream Away, and we're now seeing the first of these rebranded facilities. So that's really going back to an existing chain and bringing it up to the brand of the new owners. Speeders, and again, another e-karting indoor operation that has a number of facilities already. They've now revealed that they have 2 new facilities that are opening their doors with extensive amusement, social entertainment, F&B, all of the bells and whistles surrounding the karting experience. Then we have Action 500, which is a existing facility that then turns to the distributor Betson and to come in and reinvigorate their amusement facility, dropping in a number of brand new amusement machines and laying them out to be more modern. Betson has done this again also for our friends at Cloud Peak Lanes bowling facility that wanted to have a much more up-to-date midway component. Then we have another bowling chain that is opening up new venues. 810 billiards or 810 billiards. I'm sure that name must have some synergy with the bowling sector, but they have a mass component where they're not just a bowling area with amusement and food. They also have billiards. They also have social entertainment attractions, and they're pushing this very heavy. They've added axe throwing now. So this goes back to what I like to call a mixed-use leisure entertainment venue rather than just being treated as a bowling facility. They've opened up another facility in California. I think this is their first Californian facility, where most of their other venues have been Midwestern. Then we have Rush Fun Park, again, Texas, again, quite a large facility, 70,000 square, heavy on the F&B, heavy on the food, a lot of active entertainment, unique active entertainment elements to this mix, along with the bowling and the amusement component. The bowling, leisure entertainment, and F&B mix is, just pushing. Jersey gets Palmstra. It's more of the same, but brand new. So it's using the latest technology on its card systems, and it's trying to ensure that its midway offering is top of the range. They've also doubled down on their social entertainment component. US Simulation is a venue that really is offering flight simulation entertainment. So simtainment, the word does exist. It's not just a stinger makeup. And this allows people to just jump into a simulator and get their enjoyment from pretending to pilot a plane. But this facility also has an after dark business model, which allows them to sell simulator time to training pilots. So this is a kind of an education component on top of the entertainment component. And there are a number of facilities out in the market that offer simulation and training as a component to their offering. Reddy's in Australia, lovely name, social entertainment, a little bit of esports simulator, axe throwing, amusement, tons of tinnies, a really nice, fun environment. And then finally, in the Western Hemisphere, we have the pop-ups starting, and this is going to be something that you're going to be hearing me add a lot more to the openings and closings in our sectors. Free pop-up entertainment placements. So you are a mall, a factory mall, or just a retail gouge area, and you have some free units. Someone comes along with a free roaming VR component, or in this case, a mixed reality laser tag style game experience, and you just drop it into the space without much fanfare, and it stays there as long as it's generating money, and then you can take it away under 24 hours. The pop-up entertainment space has been part of our industry for a long time, but I think it will gain a lot more interest as more and more operators use the pop-up to test the waters towards maybe having a more permanent entertainment installation into their mix. concluding with our Japanese friends or our Asian friends, IP is king, and Curious George has been turned into a soft play and amusement component, which will be opening up in Tokyo in one of the malls. We have a brand new entrant into the new wave train machine systems for the Japanese market, where they've gone for extreme branding but kept the new wave stylings of the crane machines. And then our friends at Taito have decided to take their unique crane UFO catcher amusement experience with their very unique merch and their very unique crane machines, and parachute this into Hong Kong, into the Chinese market, as it were. And they're opening their second Hong Kong facility after opening their first one back earlier in the year. So this really has generated some momentum. Anyway, I managed to get through all of that. Any comments there, guys?
I think the only comment I've got, besides one comment about the Curious George thing, it's just that holy shit, that's a lot of
holy shit. Yeah,
like it doesn't end. How are we going to get people's attention? Like it's just becomes the same.
Have you been to my arcade facility? What is your arcade facility? It's down the road. There's lots of them down the road. What's special about it? Oh, well, it's got crane machines in it. They all have cranes in it. It's got VR in it. They've all got great. Oh, well, I've got some social entertainment. They've all got, we got a problem here. If we cannot describe our sector, this is not spaghetti at the wall. This is the whole bloody shop being thrown against the wall. I can't underline this more. This bubble will burst if we do not control it. And I get the feeling that it was going to go in one of two ways. Either we're going to see a domino moment where one large brand suffers a financial moment and then, causes a cascade, or the industry is going to work out that we have a special source to offer our industry, and we will maximize that special experience that we're trying to put in front of our audience.
Yeah. I can't remember which brand it was that we covered, but but the 15 million pound facility was 50,000 square feet.
Butlins play experience.
Yes. Yeah. Now I understand that it's part of a larger leisure and hospitality play, and that they're just trying
to have a dedicated footprint.
And they have the balance sheet and the capital to go and experiment. But to me, it seemed like just another FEC. It didn't see, there was no differentiation, and to spend 15 million on, what is arguably like maybe 4 different attractions in that mix. That's a lot for what seemed to be fairly undifferentiated.
I've actually had some transparency to this particular brand. Some of the people involved with the rollout of that are linked to clients of ours. And I had to ask the hard question, which is, what makes you feel your 15 million investment in this particular thing is unique compared to what's going on in the market? And, they feel very strongly about their brand, and they feel very strongly about the direction that they're going on. So we will look forward to that 6 to 9 months period of operation, which goes back to another point that I need to make, is that all of these venues that I've been listing and talking about over the last couple of months, will have to go through the 9 months evaluation period, where they will take their dreams, throw the doors open, and allow the public to come in and be the final arbiter of how successful they're going to be. And I can speak from years of experience in this market that not many of them are going to be as successful in the revenue generation as they had hoped for. That is business. You have to live with that. Now, how many of these companies are able to take it on the chin, pivot, restructure, refocus, call in expert help, rebrand, or refocus themselves in the market? Or how many of them are just going to go, it's not going the way we want it, turn the keys off, turn the lights off, hand the keys in kind of approach? We will be, 2025 is going to be the baptism of fire year. Sorry to be doom and gloom, but those are the shakes of this type of industry. And to speak of that, let's talk about the closings. I've only got one really closing, well, 1.5. Talking about the baptism of fire, we've been here before, but one of the things that kind of struck me, you know, how Facebook throws back at you, oh, you were doing 6 years ago this. And, you know, it was interesting that 6 years ago I was talking and promoting Sega entrance into VR arcades 2019. And, you know, a lot of things happened in 2019 that didn't happen in 2020. And, you know, the CIA Sega Joyopolis VR parks that were being rolled out at that time stopped, repositioned, they repivoted, and now they've launched the CA Sega Joyopolis sports brand. Active Entertainment has jumped into the space that VR was in. So again, be mindful that being able to pivot and reposition your brand is essential in this sector. One of the closures goes on to reflect what I was talking about in a couple of sound offs previously, which is the Japanese market going through its restructuring and redevelopment. And we see Taito closing down one of the iconic Tokyo arcades. A little birdie tells me that maybe the bird of gender will be flapping past this particular facility to take it over. But again, it does show the restructuring and the changes in the market. And then finally, for the audience watching this, here are some links to editorials covering some of the topics that we've talked about. I've been able, one of the benefits for me when I'm traveling is that it gives me time to sit down and write articles rather than sit there and try and empty the drinks trolley. Well, I can do the two together if I'm lucky. But the issues here is that we go into a lot more detail about various aspects of the market. And Replay Magazine has been very kind to reprint one of my presentations in article form that I did at Amusement Expo. Any comments, ladies and gentlemen?
No, I mean, I think this is great. Just to reiterate on the where are we at here? Okay, there we go. Just to it's like the little rounded corners. So the virtual arena just was released last week, so you have a chance to go and do that. And actually, by the time that we're all talking here, it should be available at the lbxcollective.com website, and you should be able to go back and read that virtual arena issue if you haven't had a chance to yet. You can also listen to it, by the way, if you go to our Buzzsprout feed, so lbxcollective.com, and then click on the virtual arena link. You can actually go and listen to the you know, somebody who sounds not like Kevin, but, you know, from the same country as Kevin. So, you know, it's good. There we go. Well, it's an AI that's, you know, from the same country as Kevin. All right. Well, anyway, the other exciting thing to talk about here, because in a couple of weeks or a couple of days, actually from now, from the time that this goes live, we will have a new weekly show. So as you know, Christine and I have co-hosted the LBX Daily Show for a year. We stopped that at our 1-year anniversary in August, and we've been working on a new program, and we're excited to finally launch that. And it'll be coming out here in just a couple of days. So stay tuned and be ready to listen to, you know, Kevin will be a guest on the show, a regular guest on the show, as well as a number of other people. So definitely, if you want to learn more, go ahead and like this episode, go ahead and subscribe. And otherwise, we will see you all next week on the next Sound Off with Kevin Williams.
Bye, guys.